anything else.
Freaky Friday.
Even though it's not Friday. I like that, though.
Well,
We need to change it.
we are Freaky Friday.
Yeah, but we need to change it because we're down a member, aren't we? So,
Yes, I will get onto that.
yeah, good man, good man.
Well, as long as we're here, I don't see any. Well, there's 3 people in, so if you're there, please let us know who you are.
Yeah. Do you know what I was going to say?
What?
I was going to say, I wonder where that Eric is.
Right here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to share out while I do this. Well, as long as we're here, my guys might as well introduce yourselves. And
We knew Rick was going to be the first one.
now, can you guys see that? As Rita Thompson?
I
Yeah.
can read the comments.
Okay, because I don't know, for some reason on a regular thing, it's been going Facebook user all the time for people.
It did that to us last week, didn't it? But
Yes, it did.
it seems to be working, so
Yeah, I think it's because they've changed over to Meta, isn't it?
possibly. But yes, if there's anybody else in there, say hello. So tonight it's just showcasing and having a natter about our group, Freaky Friday.
And what we do. Well,
Yes,
yeah,
and
what you do,
it's a
who you
mishmash
are.
of things. Yeah,
who we are.
where you live.
yeah, it's a mishmash of things. We do all sorts. Me personally, I do tarot, Reiki, investigations, private, and for what I call shits and giggles. and basically that's it. What about you, Ian?
Me, 30 years in the private case field. And yeah, we also go on events, which many people will see us shopping around the country doing events, just as a participant mainly. Just gives us a bit of busman's holiday. But
Now explain that, because I've heard that term many, many times, and I'm American, so I don't understand it. What is a busman's holiday?
a busman's holiday is pretty much doing what you usually do, but not as a job.
Okay.
Yeah, for fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you're
fun.
getting to do what you like for free, type of thing. That's a busman's holiday.
So yeah, we don't have, when we're on events, we don't have to actually get rid of anything or or find out, actually go into detail of who we're dealing with. We're just there having a bit of fun, see if we get any activity. Jobs are good. And
Have we got any more comments? Is there anybody in chat?
Just Rita so far, I can see.
Okay. See, 'cause I don't get that. You see, only time I'll see them is when somebody's put them up, because
Really?
as I said,
Yeah,
I
because you're using.
just use my phone. That's it. So I can't see anything.
yeah, Candice,
I can't see much anyway. I need these all the time lately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I might have fixed my Jaguar.
oh, you fixed your Jaguar.
I may have fixed it, so I'll be back on the road. I'm gonna test it out tomorrow. Go for something to eat in a neighbouring village and see how she performs.
Oh.
And what about the car?
Fingers crossed. You want to do what to scare people?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, people try and scare me, but after all the years I've been in the paranormal field, I don't bat an eyelid.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. It's people say that they get attacked, and we've spoke about this as well. Why do people get scratched on the back of their neck, mainly on back of neck or on the back? Well, the reason for that is because it's your most vulnerable spot. You don't
Yep.
see somebody coming, do you? Basically. So that's the reason for that. But it only seems to be certain types of people that get that. Majority of people go through their life, even as a sensitive, and they'll not get it. I've only been attacked once, and I knew it were coming, but I couldn't move. I were back at queue, so I knew I was going to cop for it,
Yeah.
which was bad. Stuck in a corridor, and there were about five, 6 people in front of me, and I couldn't get past them. So I knew I was going to get it, but I sensed it. I sensed it coming, which again, it's not very often. Usually, you don't know until it's too late, and then you'll get that burning sensation.
Why
Yeah.
is it not showing? It's not showing. Okay, now it shows. Hi, William. Yeah, I don't, people say it's always 3 scratches. I'm like, well, I've seen more than that. Sometimes it's 4 or even 5 scratches, in a row. And 3, it's not necessarily a bad entity. It's just someone doesn't know how forcefully they're trying to get your attention. So.
Yeah, well, actually, when you put your hand out, as in life, as in death, if you look at your hand, which 3 fingers are the most prominent?
Yeah,
they're the ones that's going to come in contact first. So that's why it's usually a trilogy. Even though it's spirit that's doing it, they still use esoteric hands type of thing. So
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. I didn't see it. It went off too quick. What was the comment?
I don't know. But no, we can't. I don't know what you need, sweetie. You gotta. I don't know you.
Yeah, well, I ain't a clue. Can't do it on here anyway. But yeah, if you've got any questions, though, we're happy to answer them.
Rose.
All right, I think I've seen you before, Rose.
Yeah, she's been on before.
Yeah.
Well, that would make you have to be bigger than me and Brian then, because I know for a fact the paranormal's real. I think after all these years of dealing with it.
Well, exactly. I mean, as I mentioned in his last show, because we'll probably go over a few things that we were talked about, but that is one that if you're going to be if you're a sensitive by birth, basically, in your innocent years, you tend to be more psychic and see things more vivid as a youngster. And that fades as you get older. Yeah. It fades as you get older. So, for example, I used to talk to spirit just like we're talking now, but in 3D, in physical form. I used to see people as people. Wow. I found it very hard to differentiate between spirit and real people. And it weren't until I got older that started to diminish. I'd see people in shades, less visible. And sometimes I wouldn't see them at all. I could just smell them or sense them. And that got to that stage where it's very rare I see them now. But I can hear them and I can communicate. Yeah. So it does fade as you get older. Other things get better, like the sense and the smell. I sense and smell more than I ever did as a child, but I didn't need to because I could see them, whereas I can't now. Not as often. It's very rare.
Yeah, it's rare I see them nowadays as well. I'm more than likely to see what I would class like a watermark effect or a shadow. I haven't seen a full blown apparition for a long time.
Yeah, the last time I saw one, I think I mentioned it on one of the shows that I've been for a really good sesh, been to a party basically, and I was walking back with this girlfriend of the time about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I could see in distance as we were approaching this road, blues and twos. I could see lights in distance, and as we got closer, I spotted this policeman walking down the road, and he was trying to tell us there's no go. There's been an accident on the road, and it's shut off. And I said, well, there's only one way we can go, and that's this way to get home. And would he mind walking with us back up road so that? But as he were walking down, there were two people with him, and all I could see, they were dishevelled and they got covered in blood. And obviously they were in spirit. He couldn't see them. He didn't know they were there. And they're trying to talk to him. And then they started trying to talk to me. Luckily, the girlfriend that I had at the time, I had to say to her, like, I said, look, just talk to policemen and I'll pull them back and tell them what's going off. And I had to tell them that they'd passed, come back with us, get in ambulance, and they'd find out at hospital what's gone off. Sure enough, next morning it were on to news that there'd been this accident, and 3 out of 4 people had passed, but I only saw 2 of them. So there were one still at the accident. Were 2 cars that had collided. But that's the last vivid, and that is 12 years ago. Easy 12 years ago. I've not seen anything vivid since. I've seen shadows. I've seen the grey figures. I've smelt. I've heard. But I've not experienced the talking vividly, apart from one, Spotted Captain. He was a gent, and he was speaking Old English, like Shakespearean in speech. So it took a bit to understand what he was trying to say. Basically, he was trying to tell us to get lost, but but I couldn't understand it until I got it on EVP. And then we played it back and we could decipher it. But the bloke was stood with us at the bottom of this tower at one point. Very, very powerful presence. He just knew that he was well-to-do, you know what I mean? You could tell with some of the spirits that they command a presence, even in spirit, as they would have in life. Yeah. People used to bow down to him, you know. Whereas if you were a peasant, you got chucked to bone type of thing.
Harry.
Oh, Harry.
William.
Well, see, when I was younger, I had the same thing, but they never showed themselves in person. It was always my toys talking to me or something like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't a real scary person or thing. I just was talking.
Yeah.
The only person I ever saw was,
my first experience, I was 9-year-old and he were a little old fella sat on a bench. I were asking him where best bird's nests were. And he was telling me, "Oh, you don't go in there, don't go in Pickering," and stuff like that. And didn't even realise he were in spirit till I saw another little old fella walking up road. I turned to look. When I looked back, the bloke I was originally talking to had disappeared.
Wow.
I crap me saying I was only 9. So
yeah.
Go ahead. So you did some bird music.
My first experience, well, it was definitely a ghost.
Yeah. Well, you grew up in a haunted house, right?
Hey?
You grew up in a haunted house, though, right?
Yes, I did from the age of 5, yeah. And, yeah, I mean, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a guy stood at the end of the bed staring at me.
Wow.
But I could tell he wasn't solid. He was a bit see-through, so.
Yeah, you see, our house weren't, but next door was from me being about 11-year-old. I used to come home at dinner time and do errands for everybody because that's how you made your money back in the day. So I used to run to the shop for everybody. And I used to do that before school, at dinner time, and after school. That was my job, errands.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, see, I used to have the opposite thing. Mine parents told me, "Oh, there's no such thing as ghosts." I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Yeah. You see, my parents did, but they didn't tell me that. They just used to say I was stupid. Oh, shut up, you barn pot. It weren't till later on, that not long before my mother passed away, that she eventually told us. And I didn't find out that we had a famous psychic in his family, and my great grandma, and they used to come from America and all over for the tea leaves and palms read. I didn't know any of that until it was too late. Basically, I'd grown up, and well, if I were going to crack up, I'd have already cracked up. You know what I'm saying? So, but I used to see all sorts, and I mean all sorts. You know that scene in Ghost where Whoopi is she's inundated by people.
Yeah.
Well, I went through my 20s like that. That was the time when I was really, really active, and spirits used to just basically, they weren't patient and they weren't respectful. I was just inundated all the time by spirit trying to talk to me, and it weren't very good. Because you can imagine when you're in your 20s, when you've been out on Lash and you've pulled a nice lady, and then you get home and there's all these spirits trying to talk to you. I mean, that girlfriend a few times, who are you talking to? Nobody, don't matter. It's not good.
I tried doing that, what William's saying, but it doesn't work for me. So
it's one of those things. You've either got it or you haven't.
Yeah. I used to scare all my mates with that. Just again, shits and giggles, really. I used to get us all around. We'd have a drink. You know, when parents have gone out and you decide to stay over at one of your mates, and there's half a dozen on you, and we used to sit round in a circle, and we'd either duck Ouija board, a made one, not a proper one, because we couldn't afford them. So we'd make one. And
cereal packet is the one I had.
Yeah.
And a plastic cup.
A beaker. And dice. I've used dice. I've used playing cards. I've done all sorts. But we'd sit round. Yes, it does. It's tension. It's a tension headache. That's what you get to when you get in your 20s, when you're still trying to retain all that gift that you had when you were younger, and you're trying to retain it, and it's fading. It's disconcerting. It really is disconcerting. And that's when the headaches start, because you're trying too hard when you're doing that. But yeah, just to sit around in a circle, and I'd say, all right, get them to stare at lampshade and get the lampshade moving. Now, we all know that it's not. Yeah. But when you sit and try to sit still and stare long enough, it appears to move.
Wow.
But there is times when I have done it, I have managed to get objects to move, mainly things that are easy to move, like a ball. And yes, that can be misinterpreted as well. But when you're sitting on a little piece of blue tack or plasticine, as we used to, so that, you know, it's going to take some force to move it.
Yeah.
And you do move it, and everybody shits the thing and runs up them. You know. It's good. It's good, and I used to do all that sort of stuff as a youngster. Yeah, migraines. Yeah. Again,
I mean, most sensitives, mediums, etc., get migraines, and even when you're saying about telekinesis, people who cause poltergeist activity without realizing it get bad headaches as well. And this is one of the things we've noticed. When you find out it's someone living that's causing it, and you find out they're suffering from bad headaches, well, that's why, because your stress is producing this poltergeist activity, and it's giving you a headache while you're doing it.
I only ran across one case like that in my lifetime, and that was my best friend, and he had 5 girls and 2 boys, and 2 of the girls ended up getting migraines all the time right when something happened. So,
yeah. What I call them, I mean, I try to use layman's terms for things. I mean, telekinesis, yeah, it's a lovely word. I like it personally, but for people that's not in the know, I would call people like that sponges.
Yeah.
And I don't mean sponges as in like they're trying to get all your dosh and everything. I mean, they're a sponge. They soak everything up. They soak up the atmosphere, and they suffer with things like that because spirit is attracted to them. They mop the spirits up. So I always used to try and take what I call a sponge with me, because if there were any spirits around, even if they weren't in that room, they would drag them in from other places, even from outside, because they're curious. They're attracted to them. It's like a dog that's trying to chase something that's on eat. They will try their best to find out where that pheromone is coming from. Well, a sponge does that, what I call a sponge, a person that attracts spirit all the time. I like to have people like that on side, because then you don't have to go running around looking for them. They're going to come to you at some point in evening.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how
I've had that several times. And it always happens in the weirdest places. I was in the supermarket with the wife, and she's talking away to me, and I said, "I'm not ignoring you. I just can't blink and see you at the minute." And she went, "What do you mean?" I said, "All I can see is it's like a kaleidoscope."
I've gotten that before too.
Yeah, I used to suffer with him quite bad at one point, and I'd describe them as, when you close your eyes, you will see, it'll start with just a little speck of light, a flickering rainbow, but really bright, and it's flickering, and it gets bigger and bigger and wider till it's, like you say, it's a bit like a kaleidoscope. That's if it's going to be really bad. And I used to just close my eyes and put some dark glasses on and wait till it passed. But the times I've ended up with them after an investigation, I don't get it so much now, as again, my sensitivity is dropping off and expanding in other ways. I don't see things as vivid as I used to.
No, see, I don't see auras, but I see I see an electricity outline of a body. Yeah. When I look at people, I just don't see colors. I don't know what that is.
And I still see auras quite good. Tell somebody their aura, but I still have to concentrate. It's not something that's there all the time. I would have to meditate. I'd have to use my chakras to open up and see their aura.
Well, see, I can just do it
aura tells me a lot.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing, Eric, is their energy field.
Yeah.
And that's when spirit invades that's when you sense them, because that's when you can really sense them.
And this is why I've said to use your chakras, Eric, and expand that. If in a way to explain it in layman's terms, it's like a bubble, but it's just surrounding your outline. To expand that, use your chakras to open up and close, and that bubble will get wider. So you'll be able to sense from more of a distance rather than smack in front of you. Because I think that's what the problem is. I mean, such as me and Ian, when we walk into a room, we could sense the whole of that room, the whole of that perimeter becomes an aura. So we'll sense if anything walks into that room. Whereas at the moment, you're sensitive and you've got that ability. It's just it's so small. That bubble is so small. You need to expand it so that you can do.
It's really funny too. What's really funny too is I see the difference. Some people have it closer to their body, and some people have it farther from their body. You know, when I look at them, so I'm like, okay, that's just weird.
Exactly, and some you might not think they've got one, but it's that far outside your spectrum until you turn your head all that way and notice it. You know what I mean? But that's just energy. That is just energy. Some people ooze it, and some people keep it close to the body. But an aura itself, it's usually anything in light spectrum from white to really a dark purple. You're very, very, very. In fact, I've never ever seen a black aura. Some people say they're out there. I've never seen one. The darkest I've got is a purple, and I've never seen a white aura. I've seen a silver one, but I've never seen white. Wow. So, yeah. But what you do when you use your chakras, like I said, if you concentrate on close your eyes, concentrate, don't think about anything whatsoever apart from the lightest, brightest color you can think of on the top of your head, on the very top of your head. Once you get to the lightest color you can, you open up, do what you need to do, whether it's meditating, carrying on meditating, whether you're doing an investigation or whatever. And then when you've done, you do exactly the same thing, but in reverse. But you're trying to find that light color, because 99% of people that do this method, you will find that it drains you.
Yeah.
So when you come to closing down again, that color will be quite a lot darker than the one you started with. So to shut down and to recharge, you need to find that color again, that light color, or something as close to it. Once you get that in your mind's eye, that's it, you're away.
Okay.
It helps to stop a lot of that migraine and tensions, and bringing things through, taking things home, because it blocks it.
I agree, but my meditation is limited to when my brain thinks, okay, I've meditated long enough, now I got to think of something else.
Yeah, I've tried meditation before, and I always, once I've started, I've chilled out, relaxed, meditating, and then I wake up and realise I've been asleep for about an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Every single time.
Yeah, but that's good. That's not a bad thing, and not everybody needs to do it. I'm just saying it's a general rule of thumb, and even I still will, if it's a private investigation and it's something that you need to really concentrate and be spot on with, I will do it, even if it's just in my mind's eye. Nobody's knows that I'm doing it, but I'll just have that 5 minutes away before I start and meditate and go through chakras in colors in my head. It works. It allows you to be more pure. You're not contaminating a room with anything else or preconceptions that you fetched into it. It's a good method, general method.
Well, we go on headaches. The only times that I've ever gotten really bad headaches was 3 times, and I get constant deja vu with everything. But the 3 times that I got headaches, I had precognition, and every time that happened, I got severe headaches and almost passed out.
Yeah. This is not breathing. This is what I'm saying. Use your chakras. And always afterwards, with a lot of people, not everybody, it's all about diagnosis at the end of the day. Good practitioner will watch his wards and see what they need, because everybody's different. But 9 times out of 10, I will give someone a glass of water. Evening, Louis. Like Reiki, when I do Reiki, you always give someone a glass of water. You need to stay hydrated. But there's a simple method. There is a simple test, and that is get one of their fingers, press it, hold it for 5 seconds, let go, and if it stays white or it takes a while to go red, they're dehydrated. So you might not think you are, but it's a good method to use.
Well, yeah, because they use it as a medical method too for when paramedic checks dehydration or hydration of somebody. They do that.
Yes. Yeah. So again, it's a good method. It works. So why not use it? Even as an holistic therapist, I will use that. Because as I say, I'm a qualified master, qualified Reiki practitioner, and I do tarot. In fact, we did some cars, didn't we? Last week. We
Yeah,
did some cars.
we did.
We
And
did.
cars.
Yeah.
And mine hate me, so they do. They say mean things to me. But then again, you like you said, you shouldn't read yourself. Number one, number two, I probably haven't touched them or cleaned them at all. So
Yeah. Let your cars choose you for a start. You go into a shop or whatever, and you look at cars. A lot of people look at them and they, oh, I like them. But do they like you? This is the question you should be asking decks like that.
Yeah. You should realise whether you get drawn to them.
Yes. Are they jumping out at you or are you jumping to them? Do you like it? Yeah. It's an awkward one, but yeah, let the cars choose you always.
Same with the crystal pendulum. They should always be drawn to it.
Yeah. That I did do. I don't even know where it is right now, but I did choose that. But the cards, it was either try to figure out what they meant or get the ones that tell you what they mean, for a starter deck, because I've never touched a deck of cards in my life. So, for tarot. So,
yeah, I think you'd be good with an answer deck. I think you'd be better with it rather than angel cards or oracle cards or anything like that. You'd be good with something similar to what I've got, which is an answer deck, past, present, and future. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because they work with a mat. There's a mat inside here, and you have to place the cards out on a mat. So you've got to go through a process. So you can't get fed up. You can't go from one thing to another because you've got to go through that process to do a reading. So it's a good mythology deck as well. And once you've done it and you've got a reading, you'll think, oh, yeah, why didn't I have these all along?
Yeah.
They're a good set, past, present, and future. Easy to read as well.
Yeah, you want to stay away from mountain deck, especially if you're in the jungle. Yeah. I mean, I've got oracle cards which are cryptic, but my whole career in the paranormal has been dealing with cryptic ghosts, and because they never give you a straight answer.
Well, exactly, but they work for you. This is what I'm saying. They don't work for everybody, but they work well for you.
But I'm a good problem solver, which is one of my skill sets. So it probably plays on that. The fact that I put the pieces together.
You need to use that deck that is up there.
What, you mean over there?
Yeah, but think about where I'm pointing from here.
Yeah, well, you're pointing over your shoulder, which is over there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't intend using that deck, thanks.
I would.
Well, I do want to see that deck eventually.
You want to see that deck?
Yeah.
You want me to take them out of the box on,
Well, the fact that you have Aleister Crowley's deck or tarot deck is pretty amazing to me. So,
and I've got his rune sticks as well, in the same wooden box.
Wow.
Which is what I want to a set of. I did have some, but I lost them when I moved.
When I get my office finished, I will have them on display in there, but they'll be in a case. But
yeah, they'll be as old as me.
I always know when the wife's done a bit of cleaning in the front room and lifted the salt off the box, because we have all sorts of weird things going on in there. What's all that weird noises? And I said, "You've been cleaning up again today?" Yeah. Did you move the salt? Yeah. How do you know? Yeah.
What kind of salt do you use?
I've just got it's a bottle of black Himalayan salt sitting on top of the box.
Cool.
But that's the only thing I've ever used that for.
Yeah, what you need some coarse, what I call rock salt, the same sort of salt that they use for lamps.
Oh yeah.
But you need it ground So it's a bit like rose quartz, but it's actually salt. That's what you need for that.
Oh, I've got a lamp over there. I wonder if the wife will know if I scrape a few.
Because they do come off. They do come off quite easy. But that's what I've got.
Well, I'll tell you funny, we got one over there. There's one in our bedroom as well, and that's got loads of little small stones in it with a bowl underneath it. So if I take a few stones out, she won't notice.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's what you need. Some coarse, like quartz salt.
But yeah, it always behaves when the salt's sat on it. So that's how I always know when the wife's moved it, polishing.
Yeah.
So,
that's gonna be a funny conversation.
Yeah.
When
it's up in my office, she won't be doing that anymore.
We always go down some rabbit holes, Eric. You know
that. Always. Got to.
Anybody got any questions?
Not questions, just saying the last one was Robert saying stay away from them Ant and Dec.
Yeah, well, they're back again soon, aren't they? I'm a celebrity in the jungle, so.
Yeah, I don't watch
something you'll enjoy when you're over here, Eric.
There's a lot of stuff I'm going to be seeing. Also, want to see.
We have a lot of TV shows that puts a bunch of idiots in stupid situations, and we get a laugh out of watching it.
I can watch that here. Sure. I get all the BBC programs.
Yeah, well.
I've seen Ant and Dec, and I've seen, I used to watch Bean all the time, so.
Yeah.
We have, I don't watch TV, so I can't comment on all that rubbish.
As far as Jackass is concerned, that's basically British life.
Yeah.
Yes, we did all that when we were kids. Big time.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the cricket balls.
Yeah. And something else we used to do as well is get our little metal tubes and just block one end off by sticking it in ground, and we'd get on a school field or a playing field and fire rockets at each other. Around about this time. Yeah, with crackers. We didn't have any.
Used to fire power rockets at each other.
We didn't care, did we? Fire rockets at each other.
I actually watched American Pie, and compared to my teenage years, that was pretty tame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we used to climb on anything, climb up all. I remember one summer holiday. We got on this old side of this pit stack, and we spent weeks digging this tunnel. And then we were playing army on it, one thing and another. And we got fed up. So there was a Euclid yard. I don't know if you know what a Euclid is. Them massive machines that used to landscape pit stacks with.
Yeah.
And they got a compound at bottom, so this meant it was a massive diesel tank. And we got this barrel and filled it full of diesel and dragged it uphill and dragged it into a tunnel. And then we picked straws for who were going to blow it up.
Jeez, Brian.
I got it paper for that one.
Yeah.
Teenagers blows this pit stack up. Well, we did, But I only just managed to get out of that one.
Yeah. I mean, you remember the laxative in the coffee scene out of American Pie, don't you?
Mm.
Yeah, well, over here, we actually cling filmed the toilet.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well, we done all that. And across Doer, John. Oh, I remember one mischievous night, right? Bottom of this road, it was like, I can explain it. Not a T-junction, but a T-junction with another road running off it as well. And we got this rope. It was a washing line, basically, and tied it to one handle and took this rope across main road and tied it to another handle. And there's one either side. And we knocked on the door and ran off. But we didn't get a chance. They were playing tug of war with Doer, obviously. But this car come down and it pulled its bumper off and pulled their doors off as well.
Disclaimer really quick. By the way, we don't condone any of this kind of stuff. So please don't go out and try it.
Oh, crazy. And bull roars. Have you ever done a bull roar? You see, I made a mistake with that one once as well, because they went, in my generation, in 70s, they started changing it all. We used to have really good solid metal drain pipes.
Mm.
Well, this estate that they built next door to us were all modern, and they got plastic. I didn't know they were plastic because they look just like ours. So you stuff paper up, newspaper up chimneys, up these drain pipes, and set fire to them, and it makes a bull roar. What we call a bull roar, it's just like a chimney basically. And it don't last 2 minutes, and it don't do no damage, unless the plastic.
Yeah.
And I did it, and it melted all this pipe off outside the house. So I got into trouble for that one as well.
No.
You can imagine I used to get into trouble quite a lot.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Oh, well. Thank goodness we never had cameras back in our day. That's all I can say.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly. Oh, only because I was daft and I'd shelp it next door neighbour while I was doing it, so they knew who it were. One of the worst ones, I don't know, I'm still here to be honest. I mean, one of the worst. We used to build community bonfires. I don't know if you did it, but we used to have community, but it were gangs. It weren't organised as such. But we always had plenty of little plots of land that was spare ground, what we call spare ground, where an estate had been knocked down.
Just now, Robert. Just in the last 2 years.
No, that's why he's on his phone, because he's speaking from his cell.
We used to build these bonfires of weeks for bonfire night for November, and they'd be massive on these spare ground. But we made them. There were always more than one use. It weren't just a bonfire; it were a den as well. So we did a little labyrinth inside this bonfire. But there were always one that had to have guard duty because you couldn't leave them. There were gang bonfires, so if you left it, somebody else had set it afire for you, going no type of thing. So I decided I got short-strawed into, and I had to sleep in this bonfire. And these other kids come and set it alight. So, and they'd set it alight on escape route. So I had to sort of try and get me sent out on it. I only just managed it, but yeah, we used to have some things we've done. Really, and you don't think about it when you look back on it. You think, "Wow, what how stupid it was," but at the time, it was fun. We called that fun. It was an adventure.
Oh yeah. Now, Travis, right now we're talking about Bryce past crime spree, and
anything and everything. Yeah, we're just going down rabbit holes. So it could be anything. At the moment, it's some of my old adventures when I was a youngster and a bit silly. Yeah, well, I've had something similar to that, Robert, when I used to work at a nut and bolt factory. And again, acting about, being stupid. You know the metal tongue, the little metal tongue, when you put a bolt into the furnace, let it heat up and pull it out, and then it gets chucked onto the next tray. Somebody else picks that up and puts it into a press machine and presses an head on it, and so on and so on. But when it comes to the heads being formed, there's always a little bit of what they call flashing left. And that goes to that last machine where it's a hydraulic press, and it comes in and smacks this little like washer type bit off the bolt, and it's still red hot. Now that could get anywhere. But they used to mount up outside that machine, so we got this habit of picking them up and slinging them.
Yeah.
So that used to be a game, sling it at next person. And I've had that, and it's gone down my boot as well. So we got to habit of, putting his trousers in his socks, so that couldn't happen. But oh yeah, some things have happened there's some dangerous things, but again, health and safety wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have any.
No, we didn't. We really didn't. You get told off and that were it. If it was serious and somebody did get burnt, you'd get sent home and said, don't come back for the rest of the day. But you'd be back in next morning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's why I say if you're Generation X, you're a tough one, because those of us that have survived have done the craziest things you could ever imagine. And we're still here.
Exactly. I mean, even something as simple as the swings in a playground. Back in the day, the swings that we had were twice the height that they are today. They were wooden seats with metal chain strings type of thing. And we'd polish that wood, polish it so that we could get as high as we could and jump off them.
Yeah.
You can't do that today. They've come up with this idea that it were a leather, a rubber strap, so it literally hugs you when you sit on it. You can't jump out of them. In fact, I think they're more dangerous.
Yep. That's how I chipped my knee. I jumped off a swing at school.
There you go. Now, if it had been wooden and polished, you'd have flown, wouldn't you? It'd have been brilliant. But
and the metal slides, God, there'd be friction burns from them.
Yeah, massive. We used to put candle wax on them and polish them. All sorts like that. You wouldn't get that today. Same with roundabouts. Now they were dangerous. We'd got what they call Bobby's helmet type roundabout, which were like an umbrella type thing. But they used to go around at the felt, but they didn't just go around. They went that way as well, backwards, side to side. And if you climbed up them and stuck your hand in, take your fingers off. They just don't produce them anymore.
You ever seen any of those videos where they tie the rope or it's a cord behind a truck and they have the two adults on that rolly thing, and then he takes off, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys are stupid.
Yeah, we've done that, and we've even dug scrapes out underneath them. And the dare was, you've got to lay underneath it while it's going around.
Oh, wow.
And they're putting things through slats to try and smack you with it. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Done some days. One of the worst days I did, we used to have some what they call slurry ponds. And they were just like quicksand, basically, just mud and water. And these things were like settling tanks. I don't know what they were for, I ain't a clue, but there were a series of 8 of them with little walkways between. And in summer, they used to bake hard on top, like looking at a desert, a crazy paving type thing. I used to get do dares, 6pence if you run across that door. So I would run across it for a penny. I'd run across it. When I think it's a good job I was little and wiry, because I saw one of these Euclids. It lost its brakes and it came down to this slurry pond, went into the slurry pond and slowly disappeared.
Wow. And
that shit me enough not to do it again. But when I think how many times I'd already done it and what could have happened.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah. Anyway, that's enough about me. Come on.
Enough about you and your escapades.
Yes. Now we've heard Bry's police record. I haven't got one. I'm DBS checked.
The weird thing is that, misdemeanors and just being cheeky and naughty and things like that, but I used to get into trouble for things I hadn't done.
Yeah.
There were some kids messing with matches, and there were a leak on this, these big round manholes that you get in the middle of a junction type thing. And some young kids, and they got some matches, kept dropping them down this little hole in this manhole, and it eventually blew up.
Oh, wow.
And I get home from work, and police is there. What have I supposed to have done now?
No?
Somebody did my name, you see. I'll be that over. So, I got into trouble for that, but I hadn't done it. Eventually, I proved it that I hadn't done it. But
Yeah.
I got accused. I always got accused of stuff. I was a little bugger, but I don't care.
You're just a big bugger now.
Yeah, just a big bugger, you know.
It was all an experience, and it was all part of growing up. I don't think kids grow up today. They just sit there on the computers or game consoles, and it's not reality, is it? You know, it's not character building for me at all. And it's a shame. Kids need to get out and experience more for me.
Well, I believe every kid should be
saying that my son is an urbexer, and he likes to climb and hang off cranes and jump from buildings to buildings, and I can't sail because I did it myself when I was a youngster. But when I see it now and I see him doing it, my stomach's doing somersaults. I'm thinking, oh my God, I wish he'd get up, you know.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what my parents went through.
Well, the difference is with our generation, our parents didn't know what we were doing half the time.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah, we went out at morning, came back at night, and that was it.
Yeah.
They thought we were down the road. We were about 8 miles away.
Yeah. We used to go to a place called Neaty's Farm and just doss about on farm doing all sorts, blowing rats up and stuff, and frogs and you name it. And messing with them little rubber band things that they used to use for balls. Well, they were fun.
Too housebreaking.
No, that weren't my forte. No, I wasn't. I was mischievous, but I weren't a thief. No, that weren't my forte. Yeah. The only thing we did on that line was there used to be a place called well, it was an ice cream factory, put it that way, and all the rejects, all the them rocket lollies, that if any of them had got like air bubbles in them, they couldn't sell them and that, so you get a batch where they'd have to chuck a box out, and we'd go and take boxes and make us sense sick eating ice creams and that. But other than that, no. And we hadn't pinched them as such. We'd taken them from dump. So no, I weren't naughty in that respect. I was just mischievous. Silly.
I honestly agree with you about the kids nowadays. When I was younger, I got up in the morning when we didn't have school. I went out into the woods until it was almost nighttime and came back home. Parents didn't know what I was doing. Climbing 300-400 foot trees all the way to the top.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we had a tree camp, 53 foot at the bottom of it, and we built basically a corrugated iron shed in top of this tree. That used to sway. Oh, it used to sway, and it was full of flies. But we had a cooler box. We had all sorts, and we spent 3 days. Never came down that tree.
No.
And we used to torment Ranger. No, you can't shoot us. You can't shoot us. We'd be taking pot shots at us, with 2-2. But corrugated metal, so we knew what we were doing. We built a right fort, and he couldn't get to us. There were only one person could. We had this called him Porky. We had to have to send him up tree first because we'd lopped all branches off. And the metal strips that they put in foundations in concrete.
Mm-hmm.
We'd got a strip of metal like a ladder, and we'd nailed it. It was about 12-foot piece, and we'd nailed it at top at 12-foot piece. And he had to scrim that first 12 foot to let this ladder down because it were on a pivot. So he had to go up first, and if he weren't playing out, then we couldn't get up to his camp.
Yeah.
We've done some things, absolutely.
Since we have about 5 minutes left, why don't you guys tell us what you got coming up?
Some things.
Yes, our topic this week is about shamans and shamanism.
Yeah, shamanism. So if there's any shamans out there and they fancy joining us, let us know and we'll sort something out. because it's interesting. Shaman, it's a religion. It is a religion, isn't it? But it's just a way that people use in a method for paranormal as well as other things. Holistic therapists. Some of them class themselves as shamans.
No. It's like here a man got his head cut off by a bus. Was at Halloween, and people on the street thought it was a prop. Was in the newspapers. Wow.
Yeah.
That had just been called a normal night in Glasgow.
Yeah. Yeah, in Paisley. It's got to Paisley quite a lot with X's family. It was the roadie for
Paisley. Do you know the statue in Paisley Square on the horse?
No, I only
horse. That's my great uncle.
There you go. There you go. See, it's a small world.
It is.
But yes, that's the only thing we've got coming up at the moment. We need a new logo, and
we don't plan that far ahead because things go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's coming up for Crimbo and everything, and we've I don't know. Ian's been busy, and I've had a few health problems. So you're from Paisley, well, there you go. Small world. Yeah, we Sid Lawrence Orchestra. There was a venue up there. I can't remember the name of the venue. And we used to do it every year, New Year. And Sid Lawrence Orchestra played for the big bands back in the day. All the big stars, Shirley Bassey and one or two others, Tom Jones and that. They were all accompanied by a big band. And Sid Lawrence Orchestra was at that time one of the biggest. So my ex's dad, roadie for that said orchestra, and I used to give him an hand. So I've got signed albums from quite a few people's.
I don't know if you really want to, Robert.
Yes, fun. But yeah, I've had a varied life, really. I have. I've done some things.
Surprised you're still alive.
Yeah, I sang on stage with Smokey. Sang on stage with him. My cousin still does circuit. He's still a singer. So yeah, we'll have a chortle one night. We'll have a party and we'll have a chortle. We do a few karaoke songs for you. All right.
Cool. No, what I'm really looking forward to though is spending Christmas there, and I really hope that I can because I want to see some of the small villages.
Yeah, Christmas is one thing. It's very, very family orientated, most of Britain. But it's New Year that you need to be out and about with us because that's when we party a bit like the Irish. We really let us hair down on New Year, and that's when we're out. We all go out on New Year. Now, a lot of people go out Boxing Day for Christmas, but it's not like the New Year. Yeah. There's proper decent parties for New Year. There is around here anyway.
Yeah. I'll be the only one driving people home sober because I don't drink. So
right. Well, what's the reason for it? Is that medication or?
Well, now medication and the stomach surgery, but before it's because I was an alcoholic.
Yeah, right. I've had problems. I've had problems with drinking as well, but I am one of the 1% that can have managed to be able to social drink again, which is a rarity. So again, I class that as a win to be able to do that because they were quite bad with drink at one point. So,
well.
And me, I'm just Glaswegian, so I should drink like a fish.
Wow.
Me too. This is what I'm saying, but I don't anymore. As you've noticed, actually, every Friday I used to have a drink, didn't I? I used to have a nice dark ale, and I've not been doing that much either.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with a cup of tea. Look at me.
Exactly. I got some pop.
As long as nobody in Glasgow, my first time there, gets me a Glaswegian kiss, I don't care.
So. You won't get that unless you upset someone.
Yeah, I
No.
know.
Well, that's another beauty. I don't know. I've had conversation with somebody in America about that with gun laws and everything, and we are so lucky, really, that we don't have it. Yes, there is a black market and there's gangs and things like that. There is a problem in certain places with weapons, but not like America. There's no constitution for it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't have tea and a biscuit. That would make me English.
That's another compatriot of yours, isn't it? They call him Kalani Ghost Hunter. But I watch him when he's doing his food reviews, and he likes British food because it's not as sweet, because he's got a sweet tooth. But like he says, to have a packet of biscuits in America, he'd have sweats for a week because there's just far too much sugar in them. So he likes our confectionery because it's not as sweet. There's flavour to it, but it's just not all sugar. So, and he's coming back again, I think. I don't know when it is, whether it's in New Year, or whether it's coming for Christmas. But he's been looking for shops.
We'll have to get Eric having a battered Mars bar.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Well, on that note, we're over an hour now. So, you guys want to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
And I'm sorry for being a motor mouth, but you'll get your chance again.
All right. You can watch these guys on Friday.
Yes, come and join us.
We'll be there talking about shamanism. So come and join us.
Have a good week, and we'll catch you later.
Yep. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye for now, guys.